This election is primarily an election about jobs, growing Scotland's economy and opportunity for our young people. What we need at a time like this is a government which would focus on those things which really matter. A government which would not be distracted by referendums on independence or national conversations that nobody wants to take part in. That's why Labour is bringing forward a programme of measures in these areas. A guaranteed apprenticeship for qualified school leavers who seek that opportunity, 10,000 work placements for unemployed young people to get them back into jobs, support for young people studying in college, and of course a commitment that Labour will not introduce tuition fees in our universities, either upfront or back-ended. Labour has already launched a manifesto for growth, indicating how we would support Scottish businesses to grow and ensure our economy prospers. Ideas such as 1+, a scheme which would allow Scotland's small businesses to get support with taking on even one more employee. After all, if only 1 in 5 of Scotland's small businesses took on one more employee, that would create 40,000 more jobs in Scotland. Initiatives too, like our First Fruit scheme, which would reduce the deposit that first-time buyers would need in order to buy new build property and get a first step on the property ladder. Help, of course, for those first-time buyers, but also a kickstart for our construction industry here in Scotland too. And to help hard-pressed Scottish families with their household budgets, we would freeze the council tax for the next 2 years. But one thing we would not do is to introduce the unfair, unworkable, discredited local income tax. That's an idea which would hammer Scottish families, the average family paying perhaps as much as £580 a year more. But it's also a policy which would damage Scotland's economy, making Scotland the highest taxed part of the United Kingdom. And we've seen that there are government papers which we suspect agree with us and show how hard the local income tax idea would hammer Scottish families. And Alex Salmond and the SNP have used taxpayers' money to go to the Court of Session in order to block those papers being released to Scottish voters. That's simply a scandal. We will bring forward too a programme of public sector reform to drive efficiencies in our public sector while protecting frontline services. A Scottish police force providing better, more effective policing for Scotland, both at a local level and strategically as well. Fewer health boards too, in order to protect resources for the front line. The abolition of the Scottish Futures Trust, which in 3.5 years has failed to build a single school or hospital. And the abolition too of the Council of Economic Advisers, replacing that with an economic cabinet which will put growing Scotland's economy absolutely at the centre of the government of Scotland. Bringing in expertise from outside government, sitting at the heart of government and driving economic growth as the purpose and objective of every government department. That is what Scotland needs now. A government relentlessly focused on jobs, growing Scotland's economy and creating opportunity for the future. A government focused on the things which really matter.